Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarrett Patton.
Welcome to this episode of License to Live. My name is Dr. Jarrett Patton, and I'm your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Just go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe to License to Live. And while you're there, please rate this episode and make sure you're giving me honest feedback so I make sure that I can provide you with the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. And today, folks, we are digging back into the mailbag. We have yet another Mailbag Chronicles episode because you guys always are asking great questions. So please keep the questions coming. Please, help keep me on my guard because you guys are asking some great questions that we'll get into today. And if you want to ask me questions, hit me up on social media, anywhere at Dr. Jarrett. Spell out the word doctor, J-A, 2 R's, E, 1 T. You can give me a call, or you can send an old-fashioned mail letter. I would love to open a physical mailbag and not an email bag or an IM mailbag. A physical mailbag would be great. Send it to 3115 St. Lawrence Avenue, number 4652, Reading, Pennsylvania, 19606. So we will get to the Mailbag Chronicles right after we finish thanking our sponsors.
The time is now to refresh your career. We help doctors, lawyers, executives, and VIPs refresh and restart. Dr. Jarrett's coaching helps you build confidence, gain more credibility, develop more leadership skills, and gain clarity in your career path. Want to climb the executive ladder or branch out on your own? We'll put your career in overdrive. Visit drjarrett.com and sign up for your free strategy session.
Hey guys, this is Janae Noonan, and I'm here with Dr. Jarrett on License to Live. Hit the subscribe, follow the journey, let's go.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
I got the biggest surprise earlier this year when I go to the mailbox and see a letter addressed to me, and it wasn't a bill, it wasn't scammers, it wasn't even advertisements. I open up this envelope, handwritten envelope, and find a handwritten letter to me. Turns out my wife gave our son, who is finishing up his studies at University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, she gave him some stamps. Well, most kids these days, they don't know what to do with stamps, but the first sentence in the letter was something like, "Hey, Mom gave me some stamps, so I figure I might as well send something off. So he actually sent a handwritten letter, which was nice because it gave me the opportunity to see what was on his mind. I actually took the time and sat down and wrote a handwritten letter back to him so he could have something back at school because, well, it was nostalgic for me because many of you guys that are as old as me, and you probably heard what that is on the last episode or two with my old references, they can sit back and say, this is how we used to communicate back in the days. You had to put a stamp on a letter and send it out there and see what you get back, before cell phones, before, people could call long distance without additional charges and all that good kind of stuff. So it was fun getting an old fashioned letter. And again, I love getting letters from all of you fire starters out here asking for advice, which is why we save some of them up and they get broadcast in these exact episodes, the Mailbag Chronicle episodes. And thrilled to be having another one. So let's get right into it for this first question. Dr. Jarrett, I've been in my current job for 5 years and I'm feeling stuck. I don't feel challenged anymore, and I'm not sure if it's time to make a career change or if I just need to push through this rut. How do I know if it's time for a change or if I should stick it out? There's a couple ways to approach this because in our jobs, no matter where you work, what industry, how you cover it, you want to have some level of challenge to your job, something that makes it interesting, that makes you want to keep going. And when you get into that mode where you don't feel challenged anymore, it feels all automatic. Like, maybe you're in a self-driving car or, you're just kind of letting things go reflexively because you're not feeling challenged and you can just do this work so easily. So there's a couple ways to go about it. And the first tip to this question is my favorite one. So I'm going to give it up front. Number one is to talk to your boss. Talk to your boss because your boss can't read your mind. Your boss has too many fires to put out, too many things going on to worry about you and where you are, especially if you're a high performer, you're doing just fine at your job, you're doing great at your job. They just let you go and let you do your thing. But the reason I want you to talk to your boss is if this is a place you'd like to stick around, you think it's a great place to work, they've been teaching you a lot of good things, well, tell your boss exactly that. And you're not feeling challenged as much and you would like to take on some new challenges. So that may give you more opportunities. It may give you a different project you get to work on. You may get to do something like mentor even younger employees. Talk to your boss and ask your boss. Say, hey, I'd like to move up, and be very specific about it. Or, hey, I'd like to have new challenges in my work. And I've seen so-and-so do this. I'd like to do more of that. And so you have this discussion, one, to put everyone on notice that you want more out of your career than what you're currently getting. And you're putting everyone on notice so that if you need to go to these other steps that I'm about to give you, no one will be truly surprised. So talk to your boss first, ask for new opportunities, ask for a new project, or ask if there's advancement opportunities. And that brings us to number 2. I want you to look for opportunities within the network, within your current place. If it's a place that you like to work, you've had fun over the past 5 years, you're working with some great people, now is the time to go ahead and look at the HR page and see what jobs are currently available out there. They may be looking for the next leader that could be you, but they overlooked you because you never told someone you wanted to be a leader or you wanted to move up in your career or you wanted to do something. So you see how A and B tie together. A, talk to your boss, let them know how you feel. B, look for opportunities internally. And so you can fire off Update your new CV, update a little cover letter, send it to one of your colleagues who is hiring for the position, and talk to them a little bit more about it. These are great things. Now, in some cases, obviously, there's not room for you to move up. There's not room for you to move on. And you are simply going to be stuck in this job that you don't feel challenged anymore. Not feeling challenged isn't the end of the world, but it does give you a unique opportunity to move onward and upward. Yes, I said it, move onward and upward. And this is when you can kind of get yourself together in a full-on search where you're going to be looking for a new job, a new place, maybe in the same town, maybe in the same state, maybe in a different region of the country. It doesn't matter. But this is the time when you go ahead and get your skills together and you say, I've built a lot over these last 5 years, but it's time for me to move on. And you get started on that job search again. This time you are looking for that specific job that you would like to have. And, while you're looking at it, look for continued opportunities for growth. And that's going to be a great way for you to start to feel challenged again, to start to love your job again. And if you have to make a career change out of your current company, well, sometimes you just have to do it. Because if your boss doesn't know, number one, you need to look for internal opportunities, number two. And if that doesn't pan out, up, and away. Well, for our next question, comes from Arizona. We're leaving it anonymous as they requested, but they're in Arizona. And they wanted to ask this great question. I'm currently in my 40s and thinking about going back to school to shift careers. I heard that it's never too late, but I'm worried about the financial and time commitment. How do I evaluate whether it's a smart move or if I should just focus on advancing in my current field? Well, great question. Because a lot of people go through this career phase and change in their 40s. They've worked now for 10, 15, 20 years. They've been moving along. They understand the industry. They understand the focus. They're getting very skilled at their job. They're building other soft skill sets. They're building other hard skill sets. And you end up saying, hey, maybe going to school may give me another chance for advancement to go forward. So there's a couple of things right off the bat. The first thing is, are you interested in going to school? Some people are, and they love being eternal students, and they want to study, and always go to class and always learn. And some of you have to do that by way of your profession anyway. So going to school and maybe getting something formal is perhaps something that you would like to do. And so you're looking at this as an investment in yourself, which is where the financial commitment comes in. And you are looking at it from a time perspective. How long will it take me to get this completed? And there's some formal things like a master's degree or a doctorate degree that you could go back and get. There's some informal things like, maybe certificate courses you can take here or there. Or you may want to do something totally different and say you were a radiologist and you want to go back and do surgery. Well, you may just say, I'm going to do a surgical residency and start all over again. Those are all great things, but it really just depends on you and where you want to start. So number one is your interest in school. And if you love school, you want to be in school, then go for it. The next part of this question and the answer is, well, what do you want to do when you finish this school? Because some people just want to go to school. They just want to get the degree, tack it up on the wall behind them and say, yes, I have another degree. I have something else. Now what? Well, this is why I want you to think about it up front, because when you finish, what would you like this piece of paper to do, whether it is a master's degree or a doctorate degree, or whether it's a certificate? What do you want to do? And if the answer is, going back to question number one, you just don't feel challenged and you want to stay in your same old job, then why go through the time and expense of doing that at all? If it's simply wanting to learn some more things, well, then you can go to school as a hobby. Take it as a hobby, but do not disguise it as career advancement. You can take classes as a hobby. Nothing wrong with learning stuff. But don't disguise it as something you're trying to do in order to advance your career. So think about that, what that means. Are you going to apply for another corporation? Are you going to apply for a higher level job within your corporation? Which brings me to the third point. Search for your future job right now. Do a full-on search that you would do after you complete this degree, after you complete this certificate, after you go back to school to shift your career or supercharge your career a little bit. Search for your future job. And while you're searching for that future job, you're looking at things that will financially reward you. You're looking at things that will intellectually reward you. So meaning they're interesting and fun. And perhaps it will also challenge you. So you look at yourself as being a leader and moving forward. The thing I want you to pay special attention to are the requirements for those jobs. Do they require this degree, or is it something that is preferred? Anything that is in that preferred bucket, it's nice to have. It'll probably get you farther along in the interview process. But as long as you have something to fill that gap, meaning experience, meaning an award, meaning notoriety in something like that, or just plain old being an expert, those things can get you along the way too. And you may not need official degrees and certifications. So that's why I want you to search for your future job and see if this degree and certification is required for your future job. If it is, yes, by all means, go ahead and go for it. But if it's not, that just may be something else that you can think about and say, well, is going back to school a hobby or a career advancement opportunity? And I will leave you with that question. We're about to reach back into our mailbag for our third question, which is about layoffs. And layoffs are happening all over the country right now. Layoffs are happening everywhere. So this is going to be a great question that I want all of you guys to listen to. And we will get the question asked right after we finish thanking our sponsor. Hey, this is Dr. Jarrett Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, Licensed to Live, daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. Licensed to Live, daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com. Well, we are here with our last and final mailbag question of the week. And again, if you guys want to ask me a question, yes, I accept old-fashioned mail. I left the address at the top of the show. I'll take instant messages. I'll take emails. I'll even take voicemails for your questions. And these are great. And if you leave me a voicemail, you can leave it at 484-362-9850. And we may even use your voice in the show. Dr. Jarrett, I've recently gone through a job layoff, and it's been tough to get back into the workforce. I've heard a lot about personal branding and its importance, but I'm not sure how to build one. Can you give me some tips on how to create a strong personal brand that will help me stand out in my job search? Kimmy in Ohio. Well, first of all, Kimmy, I'm very sorry for you going through this layoff, as corporations across all industries are being forced to cut costs. The easiest cost is through their labor budget, and it happens time and time again. And we even talked about this about in the tariffs episode, because everybody's asking me, how are tariffs going to affect my job in healthcare? Well, you better wait and see, but you're going to have to go back for that. To talk about your current layoff, Kimmy, there's a few things to go. So if you are still in your last few weeks in the job before you're actually going to be laid off, this is what I want everyone to know. And this is what I want everyone to do right now, whether you're laid off or not. The key is to build that brand before you need it. Build that brand before you need it. Before you get kicked out to the curb and said, thanks, but no thanks, we don't need you here anymore, already be building that brand. There's an easy way to do it while you're in a job, and that's just asking to do more. It kind of ties into the first question that we have, talking to your boss, asking to do more. Let me try another project. Let me do this. I've seen in other departments they do this. I'd like to give this a try. And so you're having this conversation with your boss, and you're asking for opportunities for more on-the-job training, or perhaps there's a course you can go take that's out there, or maybe even you can ask for media training. And even though your primary job isn't to speak to the media, it will give you another skill so that you can display your expertise right on in there. And so that is the first thing that I want you to pay attention to while you're out there, is start working on that brand before you get kicked out and need it. Number 2, I want you to make a career reverse bucket list. I think it was back in episode 201 or 202, we talked about the reverse bucket list and what that means. And in brief, you look back over your life and look at all the cool and great things that you actually have done in life, rather than looking at all the things that you still want to do in life, because chances are you've done some really cool things. And this is especially important here because you're going to want, in that layoff situation, to understand everything that you've done for this company before they decided to lay you off. So create that reverse bucket list, because that's going to help you propel forward with your job search and moving on in the future. So look at that career reverse bucket list, all the things you did over your time in that company, because that's going to help position your skill set as you're looking for a new position. The third tip is learning some new skills, whether you get some formal training, as we talked about before, or just playing around with something like we talked about in the last episode, like artificial intelligence, something that may automate some of your tasks or help you learn how to do something more quickly, and just get you information that maybe you've never been privy to. So that's great. And then finally, I want you to open or refresh some of those old social media accounts. In a layoff, it's time to dig into your old network. And if you network on LinkedIn like I do, and you can find me on LinkedIn at Dr. Jarrett, just spell out the word Dr. J-A 2 R's E 1 T. And that's where I like to hang out in between. But there's lots of different work social media places. So if you've never opened a LinkedIn profile, go ahead and open one, because not only will you be able to search for jobs within the LinkedIn platform, you'll also be able to search for your friends and colleagues that can help you land that next position. So, Kimmy, I understand it's tough in Ohio. It's tough all across the country now with layoffs. But 1, build your brand before you need it. 2, create a career reverse bucket list. 3, learn some new skills. And 4, refresh or open that LinkedIn account and get yourself back out there in the networking field. Never know what you might find out there. Remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been disengaged, dissatisfied, disgruntled, disenfranchised with their jobs, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player and subscribe to License to Live. And if you want to hang out with me in between episodes, I'm always on LinkedIn. Reach out to me, give me a shout. Let me know what you're talking about out there. And until then, I will see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarrett's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.